400 Pearl devices, and then they're managed by, a few people. And so it just takes your device, puts in one spot, one pane of glass, and we'll have some exciting news with the camera in that regard at some point in this webinar as well. So, yeah.
Amazing. So I'm monitoring chat. I think we're already starting to get some questions in here. Bill saying, unrelated to Epiphan, is the set of stand and mic arms that you're using. I need something like this to travel. That's a good question. Your mic arm is important in an environment like this. What do we use? I think this is more of a custom solution. Yeah. It's actually a monitor arm that's been customized for these microphones. But what's that? Oh, Vivo. Yeah. It's a Vivo monitor arm that I think has just been modified.
The important thing really with these is just to make sure that it's sturdy, right? Because you don't want your microphone dropping when you're doing your recordings and anything like that. So yeah, this monitor arm is perfect because I'm meant to hold a heavy monitor.
Yeah. I'm just check in on chat. Okay. Oh, we have more people from Ottawa, Minneapolis, San Mateo. Great to have everybody here. Okay, so why don't we, Ryan, I'm sure everybody kind of wants to know how things are set up in here today. So in this studio, we're kind of using this as our sandbox to demo today. Yeah. And I think typically the studio is set up with 3 cameras. Yeah. But we have set up 2 additional cameras. Yeah. But all of this is running through a single Pearl 2 device.
That's right. Yeah.
So maybe you can kind of walk us through what the setup is in this studio and how this is really configured in a way to make it as simple as possible.
Absolutely. So our Pearl devices, they stack from how many video sources you want to bring in and how many recordings you want to do. So just a quick thing on that for anyone who's new. We have Pearl Nano, Pearl Mini, and Pearl 2 on the desk. Single channel for Pearl Nano, single recording. 3 channels on Pearl Mini, Pearl Nexus, 3 recordings, and then 6 for the Pearl 2. So I just wanted to touch on that because we are using a Pearl 2 here, and we're bringing in 5, 6 inputs, and recording those all in isolation. So the Pearl 2 is bringing in all of these sources. It's recording all of them in one spot, doing all the switching from the same device, doing your file delivery from the same device. And so really, you don't have to be worrying about managing multiple things. It's one thing you manage, and it does it all for you. So
awesome. So when we're talking about being able to record 6 different video sources at the same time, why would someone want to do that? Like, how is it set up in this studio, and why do we need a Pearl 2 here?
Absolutely. So the important thing about ISOs is that, we have our program here, which is the switching between the video sources. But each one of these video sources is also coming into the Pearl as what we call an ISO. And so we have a recording of each one of those that will be just that camera frame the entire time. And that's important if you want to do any post-production things or anything like that. Maybe there's something someone said but it wasn't in the switch program. Well, then you can use the ISO to bring that back into the post-production. And so it just gives you a lot more flexibility with your production, and allows you to have better editing, or maybe even a higher quality recording in those ISOs as well when you're doing a lower quality bit rate for your streaming off to YouTube and things like that.
Yeah, so giving you a lot of flexibility how you want to set that up. Yeah. When you have 6 inputs, maybe you're recording a presentation and 1 or 2 additional cameras at the same time. Yeah. Just makes it that much easier to make sure that you're recording everything. And that's, one thing we always talk about is record everything. Yep. Your IP is so valuable. Yeah. The knowledge that we can share through video is so crucial. Yep. And our philosophy is record everything, because you're capturing that IP, you're capturing that knowledge, and you're making it available. Maybe you're not going to use it, but when you capture it, it means that you're archiving it, and you can access it later if you need to.
Yeah, and even in the studio here, the Pearl device manages its own storage as well. So with all Pearl devices, like in our education clients, they can have those running all the time, and recordings can be happening nonstop. And then the Pearl will just keep overwriting the oldest recordings. And because we're automatically moving the recordings off the system to somewhere else, you always know you have your backups available for you, and they're there in the place they need to be. So it just makes it, again, just easier to manage. Rather than have, I need to remove the recordings at this point so I can keep recording. You don't have to worry about that with Pearl.
Yeah. Let's talk also about how this environment is actually used, where you have, anyone from the public can book this studio and access it. It's an on-demand space.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when they walk in here, they press a button to start their recording. They press it again when they're done. Then what happens?
Well, then the files go to that server, then it's linked to a Google Drive, and then it's sent off to Jeremy, and he has some automation that essentially just prepares that for the client. And so there is almost no interface with the technology for the person who walks into the room and uses it.
Yeah, that's awesome. So it's just, by the time they get home or back to the office, they have a link in their email address. They can download their podcast or do whatever, download their ISOs if they want to do some editing themselves.
Yeah, totally.
That's really super cool.
Yeah.
I do see we have a couple questions coming in on
Let's
chat,
do
so
it.
maybe we can get to. We're going to get into the Q&A. We have a couple more things to demo, but we'll get into the Q&A throughout as well. We had a question here from Holger. And the question was about auto switching. Is there auto switching? So right now, actually, you know what? Why don't we switch, Jeremy, to, I have a camera on you. Let's switch to Jeremy. Okay. So we have Jeremy here today helping us out in the background. He's doing all the switching today for us.
Yep.
And thanks for being here, There you go.
Yep.
He's got the switcher running just in a web browser. And you'll see actually next to him, we have a big screen that gives us a multi-view of all the cameras that we have in the studio. Right out of the Pearl, we can see everything that's happening in the studio on that screen.
Yep.
But in terms of the switching, you know, we've got Jeremy, but we also do have an auto switching algorithm running here. We have
just our API. There's no more than just a couple things in our API, and there's just a very, very light program that's just running on a computer here. And then depending on the audio coming in, it'll switch to a different layout. That's all it is. So if Dan starts talking in a moment.
Okay, so we want to try the auto. Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
So it's sensing which microphone is active and it's switching to the correct layout.
That's right. So it's a really light just program that we built, and all it does is look at the audio and knows the layouts. It switches to the other layout depending on what audio source is getting audio.
Yeah. So what's cool there is, you know, if you have an application where you don't want anyone to have to switch.
Yep.
It's very much possible, and you know we do have a REST API for these devices. So if you want to create some customizations for your scenario, you want to create a custom switching setup, definitely possible to do that with our open API.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's just the thing, right? Like we have a bunch of controllers and different systems that have modules pre-built, so it makes it easy for anyone to jump into those, like QSYS, Crestron, Extron, BitFocus, Stream Deck. We have all those things that a lot of folks are using in the field. But then if you want to go take a step further and do something else, our REST API is very open. You can pretty much control anything on Pearl here. And so you can build things like that, a simple, tiny little program that's very, very light and just looks at audio and switches.
Amazing. I do see a couple more questions coming in. So maybe we'll answer a couple more questions here and then we'll get back into the demo, but we're going to get to all the questions today. We've got a lot of time set aside at the end to dip into the Q&A. Question here from Norm. Is Pearl supplying amp and mixing the mics, or are you using an outboard mixer then into the Pearl?
So with the Pearl 2, because the Pearl 2, the most use cases integrated with, it's already downstream from some kind of audio board or something like that. So there's no preamps or anything on the device. It's expected to be mixed before it comes in. We do have some audio, some delay compensation within the input that you can change to bring it back in sync with say an IP source or something like that, as well as some gain there. But generally, you'll be running it into the Pearl from a board. Pearl Mini and Pearl Nexus do have a preamp and some phantom power, so you have more gain staging there.
Yeah, that's more of the throwdown device that if you just want to plug a microphone right into a Pearl Mini, definitely possible to do that.
Yep.
The other thing I'll note with any Pearl is you can, you see we're switching between all these different layouts. When you construct these layouts, you can choose which audio sources are mixed into the layout. So like at the beginning of this broadcast, we had some music on our pre-roll layout. Right now in this layout, we have our microphones, but if you want to mix and match all of those audio sources, whether they're coming in on HDMI, XLR, RCA audio, 3.5 millimeter audio, network-based video sources, you can select which audio sources are in any of these layouts.
That's right, and that's really a key thing here too. Is that you're not limited by that. You can de-embed and embed essentially any audio source that comes in the Pearl inside your layouts.
Yeah, amazing. We have a question here from Michael Wilson. How are you controlling auto switching of the cameras? I think we covered that a bit.
Light application, just looking at the audio coming in, switching the layouts. That's all it is.
Yeah, so that's through our API. But if you want, contact us on email if you want to. We're happy to share that application with you. It's super simple. And then what other AI is the camera using? Looks great. Okay, so in this studio, why don't we cover this? Maybe we can talk about the camera.
Sure. Yeah.
So why don't we start with, this studio is using Z cams.
Yes.
So right now you're seeing us on Z cams. Yep. Z cams are like these little box cameras with micro four thirds lens. We love Z cams. Yeah. They're awesome. Yeah. But they're not PTZ, right? There's no special functionality there. Yeah. Whereas the Epiphan EC20, which you see here on the desk, we also have one set up in the studio as well, which we'll go to in a minute. But before we do that, maybe Ryan, you could just kind of tell us about, this is a new product for Epiphan. Yep. Can you walk us through the EC20 and what the concept is with that camera?
Yeah, so it's an AI tracking camera that's meant to be used in situations like education and things like that, where it's maybe following a presenter. Now, there are other tracking modes too, like zone, which could be maybe a little better for, if you have like a whiteboard or something like that, or more predetermined places you want to track with less movement. You can absolutely do that. It's 4K 60, HDMI, SDI output, RTSP, SRT, NDI, HX at 4K 60 if you wanted to as well. So it's a very diverse camera that is meant to compete with other cameras on the market in a very competitive price range.
One of the things I love with this camera is just how easy it is. Well, there's a couple things I love about it. First of all, you're kind of seeing some imagery behind us here. Yeah. The zoom, the optics, the Sony sensor that's in this camera. Very impressed with it right out of the box. Even on the default camera settings, you're going to get a really good result right out of the box. Yeah. Yeah. But the other things I love about it is just how easy it is to deploy this camera in any environment. There's a nice LCD screen right on the front of the camera that displays the IP address. Yeah. Which means to access and configure the camera, there's no guesswork. You just put in that IP address into your browser and boom, you're up and running. Yeah. The other thing that's great is the PoE Plus port, because that means I can just plug in a single cable and that will provide both power and communication with the device.
Absolutely.
Just a great camera in terms of like usability and functionality right out of the box. Yeah. Very impressed with those features.
Yeah, and I think that the LCD screen on the front is a really nice feature. And if you've ever set up a camera before, sometimes it can be a pain to find it, or maybe it's a static IP at first. We have our camera set up so if you plug it into a network that has DHCP, so provides its own IPs to connected devices, it's going to get an IP right away from your network. There's no guesswork. You just put it in. It does have a tally light in the front too, and you can change the color of that. So you could even have it linked up with the Pearl device, and when the Pearl starts recording, you could change the tally light to red or green, whatever you want it to be, or some other color. And then so you can use your camera as essentially telling people when recording's happening as well.
Yeah, I love the ring tally light. It not only does it look cool, but it can be useful, right? Yeah. Like you could program it so green means that it's live, or red means recording, or blue means streaming. Yeah. There's all kinds of different ways you could take advantage of that sort of visual feedback on the camera as well. Yeah. Why don't we kind of demo the camera a bit? I've got it. I'm in the menu right now. Jeremy, do we want to switch to the? Go ahead and switch to the camera. Okay, are we on the? Okay, here we go. Okay, so we're seeing through the EC20 now, and I've got a couple presets here, so we'll play with the zoom a bit. We just we got into playing around with this camera just for about 10 minutes before we went live here, and just playing around in the studio and trying different zooms. So why don't we go over here? We'll get a view. There we go. Ryan, let's pan over to Ryan. So I've actually created just some presets here where I can call the presets, and then, we'll automatically zoom to whatever we want.
And this could be on a controller too. Like we're doing it in the web UI, but it could have been on the Stream Deck or the Scarhoy. In fact, for all of our other videos we've done so far, we've done stuff with the Stream Deck with using BitFocus Companion. So yeah.
I love the zoom also. I'll use the zoom here. It is a 20 times optical zoom, but one of the things with some zoom cameras, when you zoom in, you start to lose detail. You know, you're trying to zoom in on the whiteboard. Okay, it can't really make out the text. I found with this camera, when we zoom in, even on this focus chart, you know, I could probably zoom in even more here, but you know, you're getting a good result.
Yep.
Even at the furthest zoom of the camera as well.
Absolutely. And when it's tracking and stuff too, it keeps its zoom. It's always trying to keep zoom on certain aspects of that person. And so, you know, we're not using tracking today. It's because we're in a small studio. But we had a great video webinar you guys did the other day where you showed how you could even, if it locks onto person, you know, you could even go behind something else and then pop out and it still follows you. Multiple people can walk inside the room and it will still stay locked on you, and it's really quite intelligent.
Yeah, that AI tracking is pretty cool. There's a couple different modes. There's one mode that's like, it's called presenter mode, and that's going to lock onto your presenter. You have a couple options for how you want the presenter to be framed, but wherever that presenter moves in the room, it's going to pan nicely and smoothly and keep them in the frame, even in a confusing environment. And then the other mode is called zone tracking, where you can set up different sort of shots within a room, and when the subject enters that shot, it will automatically pan to the correct shot.
Yeah, maybe Jeremy, you can go to my computer here and it can just quickly show the web UI here. So we can so you can see that what Dan's talking about here, we have the presenter.
Just zoom in a bit.
Oh
Ryan.
yes, of course. So we have the we have the presenter, and we also have the zone modes here. So you can specify certain zones. You can specify the tracking start area. So let's say it loses tracking, it'll go back to some area, or even the presenter here, you can start the track position at a preset. And so if you were to lose, say someone walks inside the room, well, the camera will try to find someone. If it can't find someone, it'll go back to a preset position, which could be like at a podium or something like that. That way, it's always going to be back and where the best position is to start, ready for the next day or the next presenter that walks into that room.
Yeah, amazing. I'm going to check in on questions and chat. If you have any questions about the camera, let us know. We can answer. We can demo it for you here too. Question here from Hannah. Can the cameras track non-human objects like horses and have other lock-on specific object that's tracking?
That's so interesting. We haven't tested that, I don't think.
Yeah, I think we'll have to test.
We're going to have to do that.
I'm pretty sure that it's tuned based on humans.
Yeah.
But these are the kind of things that people want to be able to maybe do. So maybe if there's a human on the horse, but not sure. This is something we'll have to test. You know, this is the newest device in our ecosystem, and really what we're excited about the most is kind of the roadmap of possibility for this camera.
Yeah.
We do have a bunch more functionality coming over the next year, but the thing that maybe is the most exciting, I think, first of all, is being able to add and pair these cameras to the cloud.
That's what.
And that's something that we have coming. I think in the spring we're planning to launch cloud pairing these devices. So if you have several cameras and you want a single dashboard where you can see all of your devices, not only all of your pearls, but all of your cameras as well. You can imagine scenarios like on a university campus where you have dozens or even hundreds of classrooms. Being able to quickly access any of your cameras is a nice capability.
Exactly. Yeah. So you could have them all inside Epiphan Edge here, and that's kind of the plan here. Is that you could have your pearls along with your cameras inside one pane of glass, and so then it makes management of our entire stack just that much easier and simpler.
Yeah. I'm gonna take a look. Actually, while you have Edge open there, Ryan, why don't do you have the pearl that's running this event here today?
Oh, funny you ask. I have it right here.
Okay. Let's maybe you can just walk us, because we touched on Edge and the cloud side of things a little bit.
Yeah.
So Epiphan Cloud, one of the applications in Epiphan Cloud is called Epiphan Edge.
Yes.
What is Epiphan Edge? Why do we have Epiphan Edge?
Yeah.
And can you show us what that looks like in this studio?
Absolutely. So Pearl devices themselves are what we call edge devices. They are at the edge of your network, and then they deliver your production, your recordings and streams off your network to somewhere else. So if we're looking at the Pearl 2 here, we can see we have multiple channels. So each one of these channels is like an encoding instance. So when we talked about ISO recording earlier, these are your ISO records. We have the, with Dan's camera, my camera, the wide shot, our auto switching channel, as well as our program channel that we're using for this stream, and a nice TV output that you can, Pearl has a video player in it, so we're actually outputting video to the display here, which makes you can put videos up during your productions, which is what we did today. We can see what's going on in the inputs as well. So, and this is for confidence, right? So someone can manage these devices with, rather than going into the web UI of the local, anywhere in the world they can be, and they can go in and see exactly what's happening each one of these inputs. They can see what's happening on the audio inputs as well, and it just makes the management and usage just that much easier.
There's all kinds of functionality in Epiphan Edge that, I don't know if we can cover it all here
No,
today.
no.
But one of the things that's nice, and we talk about automation, is there is scheduling functionality in Edge, which means if you have an event that happens every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 10 a.m., you could trigger these devices to automatically start recording or start streaming at certain times of day, or to, really follow the schedule of the room where the event is happening, or things like that.
Absolutely.
Can you show us any of that? Do you have
Marty?
anything?
It's funny you ask. I'm already doing it. And this is a schedule. We have a couple events scheduled up here. We have a light scheduler inside Epiphan Edge, so you can control streaming and recording directly from there. We can press add event. We can choose our device we want to do the stream for, and then pick what channels we want to record, and also destinations we want to stream off to. And then for our education clients, when you're integrated with your CMS platform, your schedule for CMS also pops up in here. And so you don't need to go to the Panopto dashboard, the Kaltura dashboard, OpenCast dashboard, whatever it is, to see your upcoming events. You can see it all from within Epiphan Edge, in addition to seeing your devices, and then later seeing the cameras in there. So it's, again, one place to see everything. It simplifies the whole workload.
Yeah, it definitely gives you peace of mind
Totally.
When you're the administrator or the manager of a professional video workflow.
Yeah.
It helps you sleep at night when you can check on things from anywhere, from your phone, from your laptop, no matter where you are,
Totally.
and get that sort of peace of mind that everything's working the way it should. The other thing in Edge that we have is alerts.
Yes.
So we can set up alerts where even if someone comes into this podcast studio and unplugs an HDMI cable, hey, I want to plug my laptop in, and they start unplugging things that maybe they shouldn't.
Yeah.
You can get an emailed alert that will inform you of anything that might not be working as it should. So it just gives you that peace of mind that, okay, I know that my system is working correctly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So the alerts page here, you could even have, let's say you could have Epiphan Cloud, and the email that you've used for your account is to your ticketing system. Well, you can set up alerts for all your devices that transfer then alert to your ticketing system, and it'll just be ticketed out across your entire environment to your techs and things like that as well. So it's just another way of just kind of automating these things, automated alerting. It increases, potential uptime, and just, again, peace of mind of where your devices are in the state that you want them to be in.
Amazing. Let's check back in on chat and on questions. Give me just a moment here. I do see a bunch of action in chat. Maybe we can answer a couple questions that are coming in here. We have a question from Jennifer. Jennifer is asking, are these systems considered portable? I think I just I scrolled down too much there. Well, let me find it again. Would it be easy to bring the device to different locations?
Yeah, absolutely. And really it depends on which device you want to use, and, again, the amount of video sources you want to bring in. But we see Pearl Nano. Its power.
I'll let you hold it.
Yeah, so its power requirements are quite low. You can get, I think they're called the Jackery boxes, like those battery packs.
Oh yeah, portable battery. Yeah.
Yeah, and you could connect a bonded network to this, and then you could power this, on top of a cliff. And actually, we did that at one point.
Took it out into the wilderness.
Yeah.
And did a live stream.
Yeah, and so you can absolutely do that. So you just run your sources into it. This is totally portable. We've seen other of our clients make kits with our devices where they open it up and then they have everything right there at the Pearl Mini. So absolutely, Pearl Nano and Pearl Mini are obviously more portable than the Pearl 2, but you could bring these anywhere as long as you have the power and the connections.
Yeah, the device I like in a portable setup. Pass me the
Yeah.
the Pearl Mini here. So Pearl Mini, kind of what's unique and sort of the differentiator for this device is the touchscreen.
Yeah.
Right. So there's a nice big 7-inch touchscreen. When you throw this down, if you walk into a lot of the scenarios we see are like we're in a boardroom and we need to record this meeting.
Yeah.
Okay. So you can throw this down on a table, plug in a couple cameras, and right on the screen here, you can see what's happening on those cameras, see what's happening on that microphone. You've got a nice big, button that you can press to start your recording or start your stream, and you can even do your switching right here on the touchscreen. So these Pearl Minis show up in a lot of portable scenarios. We see them everything from university convocations, out in the outdoors, somewhere.
Yep.
We'll have these devices set up, and they're really designed to be rugged enough to travel in those remote environments.
Yeah, there's a reason why Encore, as a mass events company, has like 300 or 400 of these, and all this is what they use for a lot of their live events, their techs, and they get bashed around. They go here and there, and they're durable, and they do the job they're meant to do.
Awesome. I'm going to fire through some more questions here, and I think we're kind of into the Q&A part of this as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple more things we can demo here if people want to see, but let's get to the questions.
Yeah, let's answer the question.
Question from Craig: can the auto tracking PTZ camera be inverted?
Yep, it can. Yep. Jeremy, if you want to go to my screen here, video here, I think it's an image. So we can see a flip option here. So you can actually flip it upside down. And then,
I guess that's if you want to ceiling mount the camera.
Exactly. You can also mirror as well, so you can do that. So there's options here that you could do that. So if you want to put it on the ceiling, just flips the image around.
The camera comes in the box. When you unbox it, you actually get both. You get two mounts.
Yeah.
Which a lot of cameras don't come with the mounts, but the camera does come with both a wall and a ceiling mount configuration.
Absolutely.
So and the hardware as well. So you got everything you need when you get this camera.
Yeah, totally.
Question from Daryl. Daryl's asking, will a 3, 4, or 5 PTZ camera package be available to purchase?
We have 2 PTZ camera packages, I think.
Yeah, so funny that you mentioned that, Daryl. We actually have a promotion that we're running right now where if you have a Pearl, we're offering a discount on the cameras. And we have some different bundles that are available, but I think it's like a $200 off.
Something like that.
Each camera for every Pearl device. So if you own Pearls already, or if you're interested in getting a Pearl, bundle it with the camera right now. I think we're running this from Black Friday all the way through until the end of the holiday season. So great time if you want to try this camera. It's on a discount with Pearl right now. Yeah,
you see, we have these bundles that are put together depending on the device you want to use. So you can check that out for sure.
Question here from Mazin: what type of integration can be done to allow scheduling of recordings for municipal council meetings that will get sent to YouTube for live viewing? So I think we covered that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Edge is the lightest option that we offer, and it's included in the premium subscription to Edge, and it allows you to automate your recording and streaming. If you want to go more in depth, then you can integrate with the CMS, which has a lot more features. But yes, absolutely, it's totally possible. We have multiple ways of doing it.
Yeah, we see lots of municipalities using Pearl devices in their council chambers. Yeah. In their committee rooms, and the ability to automate those, because some of these meetings happen in the evening. Some of the meetings happen all times of day, right? And most municipalities only have a small AV staff.
Yeah.
And they can't be there 24/7.
No.
So being able to automate and schedule those, when the meetings are happening. So it's nice to be able to automate that. And if you have different streaming destinations, like I want to stream to YouTube for a public session during the daytime, but maybe maybe in the evening, our committee meeting, we're streaming that to a local whatever signage network or something. Possible to configure all of that for your scheduling.
For sure.
Question here from Oscar. So is auto switching algorithm you guys created available for download? I don't think it's on our website right now, but if you want us to send it to you, Oscar, just email us info@epiphan.com.
Yeah.
And we'll link to it.
And it's like I said, it's just a light program that's using our API. You could build that into anything you want to. We just chose to put it into it's like a Windows-based light program. That's all it is.
Okay.
Yep.
Question from Herman. Can you disable the LCD display? I'm assuming that's with the camera.
So you cannot disable the display. You can change the lights on the front, but I don't think you can disable display.
Okay.
So that can be something we could look at.
That could be a feature request.
Yep.
And I think part of what we're trying to do is open up the conversation of like, what do you guys want in a PTZ camera? And I think one of our poll questions is about that here today of like, what features are you looking for? By the way, check the polls if you haven't already. But you know, what features do you guys want? And we'll build it into the roadmap. We're kind of looking to get some feedback on.
Yeah.
There's a lot of possibility for how we continue to develop this camera.
Absolutely, and you know we could go as far as using OnVIF and getting some kind of automated integration with our Pearl devices too. Like there's lots of powerful tools that we've had built in this camera here for control that we want to utilize down the road in our roadmap. So
Drew is asking, what is the I/O on the camera? So maybe we can just cover that again. We've got HDMI and SDI for physical outputs.
Yep, we have RS2. We have RS-232 ports. We have USB 3.0 out as well.
So you could plug this right into your computer if you want to.
Yeah, you can run it right into Zoom if you really wanted to. It's up to you. And then of course you have the network and control over network and IP over network and things like that.
Yeah. So for network-based I/O, you've got RTMP streaming, RTSP streaming,
SRT, NDI-HX, yep.
So all the options for getting video out of this camera.
Yep.
There is also a 3.5 millimeter audio input, analog audio. So I have used that a few times when, hey, I just want to throw my audio into the camera and then, you know, send it where I need to send it.
Yep.
That's another option as well.
And there is an interesting. You know, we're not utilizing it yet, but we may in the future. Is we've put in two microphones, beamforming microphones in the front, and which are there, and they do pick up audio, and so that might be something we could use later, maybe to enhance tracking and things like that too. Yeah. But there is also microphones on the camera.
Very cool. Eldine is asking, you mentioned the Sony sensor. Is the lens also Sony, i.e. optical clock package, Sony lens plus sensor plus processor? I don't know the answer to that question. I know for sure it's a 1 1/8 Sony sensor using the Sony Color Science.
Yeah.
Can't tell you about the optics on the lens and processor.
We'll get that information. Didn't have that prepared for the webinar today.
If you need an answer on that, you can always email us info@epiphan.com.
Yep.
You know, we're monitoring that email for any questions.
For sure.
Seth is asking, is NDI-HX included on the camera or is it an add-on?
It is included, not an add-on.
Yeah, and I believe it is. And Daryl's asking, is it only HX3? Do we have full flat NDI? HX3.
Yeah.
HX3 is the variety. Full NDI is an entire different level of NDI, is it not?
Yeah, and you know what? A lot of PTZ cameras seem to be just doing HX, and I think it comes down to the size of the stream that a high bandwidth NDI actually takes up on the network. You can really only put 5 or 6 of those on a gig switch, and then if you're doing 1080p 60, you're pretty much going to max out eventually. With HX, it is an encoded signal, but it's pretty low latency now. The earlier versions of HX had some latency now, but now the latency on HX is quite good.
It's also a much more network friendly protocol.
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
Full flavor NDI, you're gonna saturate an entire gigabit.
That's right, and that's exactly what we were talking about. Yeah, you put too many of those in network, and you can really saturate network. HX is I like to call it safer for a network because you have to worry about it less. So.
Question here from Nathan. Will camera exclude video images of people? Like if a presenter walks in front of a screen, will it be confused by people on screen? So I think we've been replying on these some on text as well, but I think the answer is no. Because once it locks onto a presenter, it falls in love with that presenter.
Yeah.
It's going to follow them through a crowd, you have to lose the presenter, and you can set the time that, okay, if a presenter walks out of the room, how long until it finds a new
Exactly.
person to latch onto.
Yep.
But it shouldn't be confused by images of people on a screen. So if you have that big video wall behind you with, B-roll playing or presentation materials that have humans in it, it's not going to get confused by that.
Yeah, and just to eat our own dog food, we did a webinar for the launch of the EC20, and Dan and George showed how that worked. And Dan popped behind George and waited, and then popped out, and it still followed Dan around. And so, you can check that out as well as one of our webinars we did.
Yeah. Tim is saying, I imagine the cams integrate easily with your recording devices. Any thought to build a control API from the minis? So on the first part of that, yes. As far as integrating with the Pearls, it's plug and play.
Yeah.
If you're plugging in physical connection, obviously that's easy. But even with the NDI side of things, when you go into your Pearl and you want to add an NDI input, you're going to see all of your cameras on the network right there. So it's one click to add a camera over NDI. So very simple.
Yep.
In terms of control API, currently there's nothing in the Mini that can control a PTZ camera, but
Roadmap.
maybe you can touch on that a bit. I know that these cameras do support VSCA protocol.
Yep.
So there's a whole bunch of ways we can control the cameras.
Yeah. VSCA over IP, REST API is we have that all for the camera here too. We have, I can't state when, but we have a roadmap item of wanting to have a more integrated type control specifically on Pearl for the cameras, and there's no date on that right now. So we want to get it into the into Epiphan Edge first, which I think is going to be really great for a lot of folks out in the field.
Question from Dave: are you able to build your schedule for the recorder while the device is offline?
So if we're talking about connecting to the internet, yes, because you could do it locally. You also don't need to be connected to Edge at all to do any of this at all. Now, if you wanted to schedule recordings for a device, I do believe device would need to be online to at least download the schedule from Edge. But once it's downloaded you could actually unplug it, put it on site, and it'll follow the schedule.
Yeah, so that's, I think, an important distinction is the schedule, even if it's created in your content management system like Panopto or Kaltura,
Yeah.
it's going to download that schedule to the device, and it lives on the device now. So if the device goes offline, or it's designed to be in an offline scenario, it's still going to follow the schedule even without any connectivity.
Yeah, and we've seen that a lot in different environments where a very complicated education environment, or maybe their ISP goes down or something like that. Well, we download about a week's worth of schedule, and so I've seen it in the case where 40, 50 devices offline all day, classes every hour. They're all recorded by Pearl. Once the internet connection comes back, Pearl starts uploading all those to the right place where they need to be, and so you can be confident that even if you lose connection, it's still going to do the recordings.
Very cool. Yeah. Question from Bill: can Pearl devices feed vMix downstream of encoding, or do we need to feed vMix separately? One client uses vMix for all webcasts and sends out vMix calls.
It's just a matter of getting the Pearl signal into. We're talking about Pearl, right? Not EC20.
Yeah, so Pearl feeding vMix.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be, you could have vMix downstream or upstream of a Pearl.
Absolutely. Right? It's just a matter of getting the video out. So you could use like HDMI out with a capture card going in. You could stream from Pearl into vMix. So there's different ways of doing it. So the short answer is yes. We don't have a direct integration with vMix, but the short answer is yes.
Yeah. And vMix call is cool. I would also recommend, maybe you could look into we didn't really touch on it at the beginning, but in our cloud ecosystem, aside from Edge, one of our other applications is called Connect, which is to bring Zoom and Teams video feeds into a Pearl device.
Yeah, exactly.
So if you're looking for a solution, if you're using vMix call, this is another option for you to bring those meeting participants into a video feed into your Pearl.
Yep, for sure.
We see a lot of, we've done these events where sometimes we'll have, and I think actually this studio is equipped for that as well. They do sometimes they'll have a guest in the studio on Zoom, and they can pop up on the TV. There's a couple other monitors here. But you can bring in someone remotely over Zoom.
Yeah, and it's just another video source. You can bring it in. So, yeah.
Drew is asking, does Cloud work with Excite or have an integration API?
Excite? Cloud? No.
No, I don't believe we don't have a cloud API at this point.
Not right now. It's a feature. We've had other people reach out for it, and I think it's a valuable thing to have. I know we're looking at it for sure.
Okay. Aldine is asking, can you send a stream from an external camera over the internet via 5G, for example? So possibly a camera in a remote location with SRT or NDI encoder.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yep.
SRT is a great streaming protocol for those remote
Yep.
locations because you can kind of build some stream buffering into your...
Packet recovery, increase the latency a bit, and so you have time to actually send those packets back, and so you can have even over unreliable networks. SRT is a great protocol to kind of combat that, as you could say. So,
Yeah. And you can get very low latency sending video
Oh yeah.
across continents. So SRT is really amazing.
Yeah.
We have a handful of more questions here, and let's get through all of them. So, Porfirio is wondering, do you have a battery alert feature? Sometimes when the Pearl device has been in service for several years, the internal battery fails, and the system resets the date to its default. As a result, it starts overwriting new videos since FIFO mode, the newest files app.
I have not heard of that on any of our current Pearl devices.
Is there a battery in here?
Yeah, there'll be a battery. Yeah.
Like a BIOS battery?
Yeah. I can confidently say that I've seen many Pearl 2s that have been in the field for 5-6 years, and that hasn't came across my desk before. Maybe it was the original Pearl, the Pearl EVs or something like that, but in the 6 years here I haven't heard of that. So
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
It's a good.
It's a great question.
It's a good question.
Yeah.
Tim is wondering, are there any plans to add OMT?
OMT. I'm not actually familiar with that.
I'm not sure what that is either, Tim. So maybe we'll have to ask. We do have some our
Open media transport. I haven't looked into it, so no, I don't. Not right now. I wouldn't say.
Let us know, chat
Yeah.
Tim, why you're interested in OMT. Very curious about that. Valdas is asking how to access camera settings if it uses a USB connection.
So if you're using USB, no network, it is a web UI that serves the camera. There is a remote that does have a lot of functionality on it as well, but there's no web UI that comes out of the USB. Our Pearl devices actually have something like that by HDMI, called Local Console, but right now it's a strictly web UI or the remote.
Amazing. John had a question here, and I see we've said to reach out, but John has a Pearl 2 installed. The audio from the microphones is not going from Pearl into the computer through cable. Not sure exactly that scenario, but John,
Yeah, reach out to support@epiphan.com.
support at epiphan.com.
Yep.
If you are a Pearl user and you need help,
Yeah.
we're here to help. Also, the chat bot on our website
Yeah.
is amazing. And it's monitored by humans,
Yes.
by your team.
And we built the whole AI behind it. So myself and also my senior tech, Zach, we built it to be as accurate as possible. And we monitor it anyways, but it's not just like an out of the box solution. It's something that we customize to work and answer our clients' questions.
Aldine is asking about the lens, is pointing out the specs on the lens on the camera. What is the 35 millimeter full frame equivalent? Trying to figure out how wide and how far magnification is, not just 20x. So it is a 60-degree field of view at the widest zoom. That's one way to look at it. If I was to guess, and I've shot full frame quite a bit, I would guess that it's not like a 50 millimeter lens or anything at the widest. I would say it's closer to I have like a 24-105 on my full frame Canon
Yeah.
DSLR. Just guessing, but I'd say it looks like maybe 24 millimeter full frame equivalent. I can't tell you that for sure though. One way that PTZ cameras are measured is in their field of view, and this is a 60-degree field of view.
Yeah. Yeah.
But in terms of like the magnification, if you have a very large room or even a classroom or a lecture hall, this would be able to be very adequate. And there's even a digital zoom as well.
16 times. Yeah.
So after you hit that 20 times optical, if you want to just need it bigger,
Yeah.
you can use the digital zoom.
Yep. For sure.
Claude is saying, sorry, I missed the beginning. Are the cameras Crestron video conference certified? Is it more for a studio or also VC? Do they support 802.1x if connected to the network?
So right now they don't support 802.1x. They're not certified with Crestron or anything like that. They are built to be kind of an agnostic type camera that you can use with most anything, but we're going to really be focusing on making it easier to use with our Pearl devices.
Yeah, and I think we do have a large number of users in education spaces,
Yeah.
so we've definitely put an education emphasis on making sure that this would be a great camera in any education environment, whether that's a smaller classroom or a larger lecture hall.
Yeah, yeah. And I should mention that Pearl devices absolutely are 802.1x, as well as a number of other things as well for high security environments. So
Yeah, these we cover LDAP.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of security features
Yeah.
on these devices.
CA cert, you can upload your own.
We could do an
certificates.
entire event
We
just
could,
talking
yeah,
about
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But safe to say that we have some users who have extremely sensitive
Yep.
video requirements, legal things, military applications, you name it, and these devices are able to check all those boxes in terms of security functionality.
For sure.
Keith is saying, how about connecting video from a Pearl encoder into a Teams call via the cloud? Well, I'm glad you asked that, Keith, because we do have a way to do that. So using the Epiphan Connect tool in our cloud, we can extract sources from Teams into a Pearl, but we can also do a return feed back into Teams. And this can be really nice when maybe you're doing like a Teams webinar or something, but you want to pipe some really high quality video in there.
Yeah, yeah.
Or you want to do a multi-camera thing like this, and you want to send that feed into Teams. The return feed is a way to do that.
Yep.
So it's really easy to set that up.
And it's SRT, so the actual delay on the stream can be quite low. So
Yeah, you can get that latency under a second, no problem.
for sure, yeah. Even even if you're going connect into a Pearl device, then out into return feed, it can even be under a second in that. So SRT is a quite amazing thing, which is why we've used it for our cloud software there.
Does Pearl have multiple live outputs for iMag?
Has multiple HDMI outputs, and then you could stream off your programs as well. So if you had a Pearl 2, you could do no problem 6 streams from each one of those in any of the protocols we support. So it's it should be fine. If you bring it into like a computer, then you need to convert the HDMI to USB. But yeah.
Yeah. Lots of ways to get video out of the device.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like in this studio, I think we showed it before. Do you want to just cut back to that for a second? We're using one of our HDMI outputs to show, go to your camera, Jeremy. I just want to show
Yeah.
I just want to show that.
Showing the multi-view.
This is, maybe I can actually, I've got a preset here I can show. So this is a multi-viewer right out of the Pearl. So we can see programs, sources. We could even put like device information,
Channel
into these
information,
frames as well.
CMS schedule. Yeah.
And then we're using our second HDMI port to power this television behind us. So if I want to run some different content on this, I've got like a different background here.
Yep.
We had a video playing on here before.
Yep.
So easy to use those ports, but the real power comes when you use your network outputs.
Yeah.
RTSP, that's great for a signage network. SRT is great to send video just about anywhere.
Yeah. HLS, all kinds of stuff. So yeah.
An abundance of ways to get video out of your Pearl device.
For sure.
We're going a bit long here, so I want to fire through. We could still have a handful of questions. I want to get to all of them. Thanks, everyone. I still see we have a lot of people here.
Yeah.
Thanks, everyone, for joining us. I mean, we love doing this. We're passionate about this, so it's really fun for Ryan and I. Maybe we get a bit carried away, but we really appreciate having you all here and answering your questions.
Yeah.
Brianne is asking, how easy is it to integrate this camera into a QSYS design along with having control over pan tilt zoom on a QSYS UCI?
So we will have a QSYS module available on our website that you can download that you'll be able to actually load into your QSYS designer. And so you'll be able to control, the basic camera functions and things like that, turn auto tracking off, pan tilt zoom and all that from the module. So we're currently building that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aldine has a follow-up question regarding SRT. Does Pearl then decode the SRT and mix into the stream, or would I need an on-prem SRT decoder?
No. Nope. Perl is an encoder and decoder. You can do both at the same time. You don't need to flip it into some mode or the other. So you can be bringing in 4 SRT streams, mixing those inside one program, and outputting those to like YouTube. But if you're using Perl 2, you could also grab the ISOs of each one of those as well and do it all at the same time. You can even output a SRT feed from the HDMI that's not included in any of your channels if you wanted to. So there's lots of options. We give people a pretty powerful box here to do what they want for sure. Yeah.
Thanks for that. And you notice I'm coughing a little bit because I'm starting to lose my voice a little bit here.
Yeah.
But it's great to see all these questions coming in. Tim followed up on the OMT. He says it's an open source, similar to NDI.
Exactly. Yeah.
Less bandwidth, still high quality video. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brad, with Yuja integration. So Yuja is one of the content management systems that we have a native integration with.
We do. Yeah.
How does a recording know where to go after a recording? Schedule and ad hoc.
So it depends. It depends on what integration you're using. If you're doing it with Edge, then you have our automatic file upload, which is essentially you tell the Perl where to put those files. If you're integrating with a CMS, it takes over the automatic file upload, and so it can be directly into the folder of the person who actually started that event. So like a person walks in, let's say, enters their email on the touch screen or your API, whatever it is, it's moved right to where it needs to be, right for that person. So lots of options.
Yeah. Dustin has a good question, and we hear this question often. When will Perl support Dante audio? I'm tired of using Dante AVIO.
Yeah, so we're working on it still, and we've done testing. I don't have a date on it, but we absolutely want to bring it in. We understand it's important. It will come.
Yeah, and we've got a lot of exciting things on the roadmap in 2026.
Yes.
We can't reveal all of those things today.
Yeah.
But come ISE time in early February, a lot of those announcements will be coming.
For sure.
Bill is wondering, is the Perl input-output also set up through Connect to and from Zoom? Yes, I would say just the simple answer is yes. We mentioned you can push video back into Zoom using our Epiphan Connect application. You can bring video in from Zoom. And this is the back end of Zoom. This is not additional compression. You're getting the highest quality source that Zoom has to offer. It's a cloud-to-cloud connection.
Exactly, yep, for sure.
Justin is saying, you mentioned that the cameras are designed for education spaces. Does that include conference rooms? We have bring your own device in many of our spaces and would love to integrate it into both a Perl Nexus to an end user and to an end user's PC for video conferencing.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that's the kind of application we see all the time, right?
Yep.
Conference rooms and, we need to capture the video here and here and send it there.
Yep.
You know, there's always a way. One of the ways we describe these Perl devices is kind of like a Swiss Army knife for video. If you can imagine it, you can probably make it happen, and we're always discovering new workflows.
Oh yeah, people use our devices in ways we never even thought of. So
yeah. So if you have a scenario in a conference room, chances are there's a right fit Perl and a way to and Perl Nexus is great in those permanent installed scenarios.
Yeah, for sure.
Jade is saying, will you have a copy of this video available so I can share with our sales engineers? Absolutely. You'll get a follow-up email that will give you a link. And we'll be happy to share this recording with you. And everything also ends up on our YouTube channel. Yep. And the YouTube channel is a great repository of information for all of these. And if you go to previous live streams on our YouTube channel, you can see we cover a bunch of topics here. So you can always find more details there. And that, I think, we got another question here from Josh. We are moving from software-based lecture capture to appliance-based. Josh, your world, your world is about to get so much nicer. Is there an API out there for people to start ad hoc recordings and have it mapped to the correct owner on the PC or on Extron control?
So it's all dependent on. Let me see if I can get into the API here. Jeremy, can you go to my computer, please? So we have our API for our events is quite robust.
And this is on the device, by the way. This API
Yep, I literally.
what do we call this? An API browser?
Yep. So this is the back end of Perl, but right down here you see REST API. And again, kind of going back there, you saw the 0% storage back there. That's because this Perl is running literally all the time and just overwriting the oldest recordings. That's uploading the newest ones. That way you never have to manage a storage device here. But anyways, back to REST API. So you click here, and this is our APIs built into the device, and you can even test things out. So I can go down to events, and if I was doing an ad hoc event, now this device is set up with CMS, it gives me certain things I can do. So I can press try it out. There's a payload here, and so I can add certain things into the payload, and that can include things like your organizer for Kaltura or the folder for Panopto. And so there's these things that you can do to really be able to build your own experience that you want your end users to have.
Yeah, and I think we see ad hoc recording as a very common use case in a classroom where someone wants to walk in and, I know with Panopto, you can even enter your Panopto credentials on the touch screen of the Mini.
Yeah, we have SSO on the Mini there, so you could if you don't have a controller set up, you could use the Perl. We also are compatible with Delcom lights, so you can have this set up to a default folder in Panopto. Someone can walk in and just click a button and starts the event up right away. When they're done, they hold it and it stops, and then so they don't need to interact with the device at all. And that's good for Nexus because you could have Nexus in the rack. They walk in, they interact with the button, and that's it.
Yeah,
so.
That's a scenario we see all the time. Classroom is a shared space, right?
Totally, yeah.
Different people coming in, I didn't book anything, but I need to record my presentation.
Yep.
And there's always a way to do that with whatever control interface that you're using.
For sure.
Speaking of control interface, we're going to wrap up now. I think we've had a lot of fun here.
Yeah.
I just wanted to show, why don't we show the Scarhoy here? Because I just thought this is so cool. So in this studio, this is, we're talking about automating, make it as simple as possible. This is how the studio works here is, Jeremy built the Scarhoy controller right into the tabletop. So the user can just come in, press one button to start their recording. There's some other buttons to control the lighting in this studio, which is like super fun. It's how much more easy can it be than one button?
It is one button. That's all it is.
Well, I guess scheduled and fully automated, no buttons.
You could do that. Yeah.
We could have done that today. But it is so awesome to have that nice, easy button.
Yep.
Hannah has a question. Is there a possibility to integrate videos to custom applications? I think as broadly as possible, yes. I mean, that's what the API is all about.
For sure.
As custom as you want to get, we're giving you full control over all the capabilities of these devices.
Yeah.
But really, most of your control can be done right in our cloud interface.
Yeah, and like if we've built it that you can choose kind of how you want to work it. So if you want to control it with something, you could, as long as it sends HTTP commands, you can use our REST API. As long as the thing you want to transfer files to is one of the supported protocols we support, you can do that. So it's not like, you need to use this device and this name, this and that. So here's the protocols. This is what it's capable of. You choose how you want to direct those things and use them up.
Amazing. Okay, we have gone for just over an hour now, and this has been absolute blast. Loved the questions from everyone. Loved the interaction in chat. Great to see people here from all over the world.
Yeah.
And this is kind of our passion, right? How do we make professional video as simple as possible? And we hope that we've given you some ideas and some concepts that you can apply in your environments and your applications. And Ryan, it's been fun to hang out with you. Jeremy, thanks for helping us with the switching on this program today. Is there anything else we want to add?
I don't think so. Just thanks for coming, and I hope you'll have a great day.
Yeah, and you can always reach us. We'll put a title card at the end. You can always reach us, info@epiphan.com.
Yep.
Okay, thanks, guys. We'll see you.